back, everyone. Time to go behind the headlines, and my latest post up at hightimes.com focuses on one of the, the favorite band of one of my dear friends in Denver, Colorado. B's going to love this story. It's about Aerosmith and their lead singer, Steven Tyler. They're in Uruguay. They did a concert last night, and they held a 3-hour meeting with President José Mujica at the presidential offices there. Kind of unheard of to meet for 3 hours with the president, but a lot of good news coming out of this between Aerosmith's frontman Steven Tyler, who praised the leadership of President José Mujica in making that country the first to legalize marijuana. You know, they haven't done it yet, but José Mujica has been leading the way. Tyler said, quote, "Your president is a freedom fighter, and in many ways we fight for freedom ourselves with music," end quote. Now, Aerosmith performed at the stadium in Montevideo and called Mujica, quote, "one of the best presidents in the Americas," end quote. And they cited not only his efforts to legalize marijuana, but his selfless devotion to the poor. Steven Tyler added, quote, "Mujica gives 70% of his salary for people's homes. Here in this small country, Uruguay, I think he's doing it the right way, grassroots, and we believe in that," end quote. Uruguay made international headlines when its legislature's lower house voted in favor of a marijuana legalization bill supported by Mujica. The bill is now on its way to the upper house for a vote, and should it pass there, Mujica is sure to sign it. While countries like the Netherlands and Portugal in Europe and other South American countries like Argentina and Peru have tolerated personal use, Uruguay would become the first country to legalize not only possession of marijuana, but its cultivation and sale. Now, according to Uruguay's presidential press office, President Mujica has donated more than $300,000 of his salary to Plan Juntos, which is a program that provides free homes and medical care to mostly single mothers. Often referred to as the world's poorest president, Mujica came into office in 2010, claiming his entire personal wealth consisted of a 1987 Volkswagen Beetle. He certainly does not have the trappings of most world leaders with a presidential palace and motorcade and such. Mujica still lives on a small flower farm that's listed in his wife's name. Now, President Mujica's got an interesting background. He began his political career as a leftist guerrilla fighter with Movimiento de Liberación Nacional Tupamaros, which is an urban group, mostly known as Tupamaros, that staged bank robberies back in the 1960s. And when they robbed the banks, they then take the proceeds and distributed them to the poor. Later on, they got involved in more militant guerrilla actions, political kidnappings and the such. And he was captured. He was part of that group and was captured by government forces and ended up spending 14 years in prison, a lot of it in solitary confinement. And he also, of course, was tortured there in prison. And during his incarceration, he explains that he came to realize that violent revolution, armed revolution, was not the way to permanent, lasting change. And that's when he dedicated himself to helping the poor and doing it through political systemic change. And wow, he's a force to be reckoned with. He's made his way all the way from poverty to the presidency down there in Uruguay. Now, during this uncommon 3-hour meeting with the president, Steven Tyler and the band presented Mujica with an electric guitar that was autographed by all the members of Aerosmith. In true Mujica fashion, he plans to auction it off to benefit a charity that provides building materials for the poor. Boy, it's great to be able to tell a story like that of a sitting president who is in full-throated support for legalization. And this is true political leadership on his part, because the people of Uruguay, by and large, don't support legalization. The polls I've seen have been 60% against legalization in that country, and yet he is marshaling the political force necessary to be able to pass that bill in the lower house. It's currently awaiting review in the upper house, their version of the Senate. And again, if it makes it through there, Uruguay could become the first country in the entire world to legalize the production, the sale, and the use of marijuana for recreational purposes. We'll keep you informed on that and all the happenings all throughout the Western Hemisphere, throughout Europe. Anywhere we can get the news on cannabis, we'll have it for you right here at 420 Radio News. If you've got a news tip, visit our contact page at 420radio.org/contact and let us know today. We can always use as much help as we can possibly get. All right, well, it's 20 after here, and we've got our good friend Brian Red joining us. So, Brian, I think we should celebrate.
Indeed, time flies.
And Microsoft went and broke our clock.
Yeah, bastards.
Dang it.
Oh, have you ever met that funny reefer man? A reefer man. Have you ever met that funny reefer man? A reefer man. If he said he swam to China, he would say